So we'll first begin with the Ursuline story. In 1857, Abraham Lincoln came to national prominence with his eloquent testimony against the U.S. Supreme Court's Dred Scott decision. That same year, Sister Mary Joseph Wolfe and 4 other Ursuline sisters arrived in Springfield. They came from Sligo, Ireland, in a roundabout way. The night they arrived, it was too late to gain access to the Farnsworth home where they were to stay. Instead, they did make do with barely adequate lodgings in the nearly new St. Nicholas Hotel. Next morning, somehow, another patron persuaded them to give a brief piano recital in the lobby, suggesting if they played, it might gain them some notoriety and students for their school. Within weeks, they'd organized the first group of young women into the first class of Ursuline Academy. We'll go ahead and watch the video.
A handful of sisters arrived from Sligo, Ireland, and took a very long route to get here to Springfield, Illinois. The sisters arrived in August of 1857, and 3 weeks later, in September, began the school that would house many students for years and years to come. They moved to this property 10 years after they arrived in Springfield. And for years, this was our home, our school, and where we loved to come and be as called North End. Our sisters had a tradition that they really instilled in us of the internationality of our community. We were connected not only to Ursuline schools in the United States, but throughout the world. And that is something that is a charism that we hold and cherish still today.
So we are very proud of our history here, our heritage here, and the number of women, and to some extent men, who are educated here. In 1929, at the request of the Bishop of Springfield, the Ursuline Sisters established a 2-year college. Originally, it was called Springfield Junior College, and name was later changed to Springfield College in Illinois because of the connotation of junior college. This was always an academic institution, and there was always great pride at the transferability of students. Many of the students who attended here went on to the University of Illinois, and there was great care taken that would be an easy transfer for them. For almost 40 years, this was the only institution of higher education in Springfield and in the Springfield vicinity. And so many professionals, particularly doctors and attorneys, were educated here. One of the things of interest to me is that it was established as a private, non-sectarian college, welcoming to all, even though it was completely funded and largely staffed by the Ursuline Sisters.
And for many years, the seminarians and nurses in training for St. John's Hospital began their education right here at SCI, doing their undergraduate first 2 years of college work right here.
So again, a history and heritage of which we are very proud.
In 1925, at the request of the Bishop of Springfield, the Ursuline Sisters were asked to serve in the grade school here at Blessed Sacrament Parish. They served here, commuting from the convent at 1400, and in 1934, the parish built a convent residence for them. This school was always thriving on the west end, on the southwest end of the city, and many people were educated here, many professionals throughout the city, including Bishop Van, who claims this as his alma mater. There are professionals such as doctors, nurses, and others who, for Blessed Sacrament, began their education as a young child.
At some point, the town continued to grow to the west, and so a parish was cut off, established west of here, Christ the King Parish. The Ursuline Sisters we did not have sisters available to serve, and so the Dominican Sisters took that as their ministry. We do want to say that in addition to serving at Blessed Sacrament, Ursuline Sisters served at St. Joseph's School, St. Aloysius, St. Peter and Paul, as well as schools in Granite City and in Oak Park, Illinois. So we spread out, tried to go wherever we were called to go and asked to serve.
So we're going to invite the two of the stars of the video up to the panel as Sisters Rita and Peggy Moore, and Marianne Stremsterfer, if you could join us also at the table. So we'll just start with a couple of questions for the panelists, and you'll have some time at the end for the audience to ask questions, but we're going to first do a couple facilitated questions, and then we'll go through the other congregations, and then we'll bring them back up. So first, we'll start with the sisters, Rita and Peggy. Will you first share with the guests your thoughts about the impact of the Ursuline motto of Serviam and how you see the sisters moving into the future?
She's an artist. Serviam, which means I will serve. I will serve is a motto that has global outreach. It is a model that all of our schools throughout the International Institute that we are very familiar with. And we work hard to instill its value and its gifts in all of our students, our faculties, and any of our staff that work with us throughout the areas, say in province leadership and our province offices in St. Louis. This motto and the shield that we have that represents it are recognized all over the world by our Ursuline graduates. Serviam, when it is embraced, has a real opportunity to become a core value in one's life. Its focus is outward, and when lived, inspires goodness, compassion, and courage. Living out Serviam gives one a sense of belonging to something larger than yourself and gives you the opportunity to reach beyond what you might be comfortable with. Serviam also deepens our baptismal call. Each of us, as we were baptized, has been called to serve God and our brothers and sisters. We are called to be God's hands in our world today. Choosing to live out Serviam in our families or in our professions as public servants or professionals in law, education, social work, the arts, trade works of all kinds, education, of course, gives one the opportunity to really be open to having your life changed for the better. And it will truly be something that will have an impact not only on you, but on those that you serve. Living out Serviam here in the Springfield community can be seen in a variety of ways, and we are so proud of the many ways in which the graduates of Ursuline Academy and our schools have shown this in the community. I'm going to name a few of the ministries that people have volunteered in. I have been away from Springfield for many years, so I had to ask my colleagues here who live here in Springfield to help me remember some of these places, because some are new since I was living here. People volunteer at the Central Illinois Food Bank, Kumler Outreach, the Martin DePore Center, St. John's Breadline, Meals on Wheels, hospital volunteers, people who help with the Knights of Columbus projects all over the city, support for Villa Angela, our Ursuline Academy alumni and the foundation, and also in parish, liturgical, and as Eucharistic ministers, and as readers and lectors, and serving in parishes in other ways. We, the Ursulines, are extremely grateful to all of you for all the ways that you continue to live out Serviam today. Thank you.
I just want to say, there's been mention of our international footprint, and I saw the Serviam shield and logo on children in Jakarta, Indonesia. It touches my heart to know that that's happening. And also to say that, you know, we are very proud of the educational ministry that we have had here in Springfield, but clearly we have 3 sisters still living in Springfield, no longer active in education. But one of the things that has happened to us is as we have become fewer in number and are no longer able to serve in those ministries, we are very grateful for the places where our schools continue to thrive through our laity. We started with lay teachers and then lay principals and administrators and trustees, and we are now turning over even the sponsorship of our schools to dedicated lay people who really believe in carrying on the mission of Ursuline education. A few years ago, we asked all of our sisters, how are you now in mission? And it was so heartening to read this, that all of our sisters, particularly those in assisted or skilled facilities, we do not have our own facility, so our sisters are in facilities with other people, that every one of them had an answer to that question. How are they in mission? It's not over. And so what we're beginning to understand is that it is how we are to be in this world and not all that we do. We're proud of what we have done, but we continue to serve by being with others, by caring for them, by listening to them, by praying with and for them, and so on. Thank you.
It's hard for me to, it says Marianne here, but I prefer to call you Mrs. Strem, if you don't mind.
That works for me.
Okay, good. You and your family have been steeped in Serviam. What has been the impact of that on your life, and what has been the sisters' signature impact on our city?
Okay, so I prepared, and I should have coordinated with you, sister, but Serviam, service. And the Ursuline motto, it's the Ursuline motto, and when I was asked to comment on how Ursuline Sisters influenced my life, this one word came to mind. I was born into an Ursuline family. My mom, my grandma, my aunt, my sister, my cousins, my children, all were alumni from Ursuline Academy. I graduated from St. Aloysius, Ursuline Academy, and then Springfield College. I was the first group out of Springfield College, so I wasn't a junior anymore. And those were 15 years of calling Ursulines mother or sister. So that was a great thing for me, because I felt like they were part of my family. The love of my life, Gary Stremsterfer, with whom I shared 44 years of marital bliss, he embraced the idea of Serviam as well. He was raised by Dominicans and Viatorians and Ursulines at SCI. Then he taught with the Ursulines at St. Aloysius for 39 years. Right. Our 3 children, Sarah, John, and Laura, received that same education as myself from kindergarten through SCI. And so my family bleeds Serviam. So I spent my 40-year career teaching art in Catholic schools. St. Aloysius for 31 years, and then I was principal for 1 year later on after I left Springfield College and eventually Benedictine University. So I was an art teacher all those years, and I'm carrying on that love of teaching art into my 49th year of educating at the Springfield Art Association. It's been a lot of fun. What a hoot, class of 67, I forgot to say that. Maiden name, Holworth, okay, just so. That commitment to being helpful, considering how to assist others to be successful humans as well as faith-filled adults, realizing our lives are dedicated to not only our family of relatives, but to our universal family of God. Now that's Serviam. Every Ursuline nun who touched my life has been influential in some way. Mother Rosaner taught me how to read in kindergarten. Back in the 50s, that was pretty awesome when I think about it now. Mother Francetta taught me the basics of Catholicism in 2nd grade and how to do an Irish jig. Mother Martin DePores opened my eyes to poetry and theater in the 5th grade and made me understand the parts of Mass. I've never forgotten that education. Sister Julianne Stevens taught me what a strong woman could be as my principal at St. Aloysius. At Ursuline, Sister Marie Sardo made me love writing and free thinkers. Mother Victorine taught me how to fold a letter. If I was doing it wrong, I went, ooh, I can't do that. I think about it all the time. It's a handy thing to know. And then we had, it's an important skill. Mother Al made me a patriot. And at SCI, Sister Regina Marie Freymuller, now 87, who is my mentor, has made me into an artist and an art teacher. We still communicate. Yesterday I was writing this. Guess who calls me on the phone? Regina. I said, SRN. I said, I'm writing about you right now. The Holy Spirit works in that marvelous ways. She's still kicking. If you had her at SCI, she's amazing. Naming nuns is always a risky kind of thing to do. And of course, there are many more who left their mark on me. But these Ursuline sisters have always been and will always be family to me. One of my best friends through high school and beyond, whom I call my sister, is Sister Susan Marie Kinsler. And she entered the Ursulines right after high school, yet we have been in touch with each other forever. She is with me in person or spirit for all of my important milestones. Her wisdom continues through our aging together. I just heard she's coming to St. Louis, so I'm pretty excited. She's been in Rome. Amending slightly from St. John, chapter 15, verse 13. No one has greater love than this, to live one's life for one's friends. The Ursuline Sisters, as well as the Dominicans, the Franciscans, and all the orders of sisters, have lived their lives for us. Serviam. Thanks, ladies.